But first, the incredible letter of thanks a teacher received from a pupil 4 years after he came out as gay in assembly. David Weston told Watford Grammar School back in 2010, but had no idea about the impact he made until he opened the letter from an ex-pupil yesterday. And as is the norm these days, David posted it on Twitter and it's since gone viral. Well, David joins me now along with Richard Miah, who wrote the letter. Thank you both for joining us this evening. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of the letter. It's going to come up on the screen, but the letter says, "I know this message may seem a little pointless, but I really felt you should know that you challenged the ignorance of so many people that day. And if every gay teacher shared your courage, then the world would be a much better place, not just for gay men, but for all of us. For that, I thank you." Such incredible honesty, Richard. Why did you decide to write it?
Well, of course, you know, it was a nice letter for David to receive, I'm sure, but the courageous act was what David did in assembly. You know, that must have taken an incredible amount of bottle, and really this letter is, you know, no small act compared to something as courageous as that.
Yeah, I mean, David, how did it feel for you to open that up? Did you honestly have no idea of the impact that you'd had?
I had no idea. So this letter came completely out of the blue, this email, and I just looked at it and thought, that's a really lovely thing to say. And I replied to Richard and said, thank you very much. And then at the last minute, I thought, well, actually, there might be some other people who think, you know, this might be give them some heart, if you like. Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll just put a little clip of it on Twitter. And I mean, what happened next was just so ridiculously unexpected.
I know, I was looking at your Twitter account and you did sound shocked by the amount of retweets that you were getting from it. I mean, Richard, at the time when David gave this assembly, I mean, what was the reaction amongst the pupils in the school that day?
Well, you know, we were lucky enough to both be at a school which was incredibly forward-thinking in this respect. We had a fantastic headmaster at the time. You know, there was not a single ounce of stigmatism or criticism. There was nothing negative whatsoever. And, you know, of course, in an ideal world, it wouldn't really have even been an event. You know, a man loving another man. I mean, so what, right?
Yeah. And for you, David, why did you decide to make that leap to actually come out and be honest with the pupils in the school?
I'd been through quite a tough time in my teaching career. So it'd been a period of 4 years. My mum had passed away from lung cancer. I'd been diagnosed with a sort of a mystery liver condition. I ended up having a liver transplant. And I know this sounds slightly corny, but I was in hospital recovering from that transplant and thinking, I've been given a second shot at life here. And I watched the film Milk, where Harvey Milk, who was the first openly gay politician, says, if we want to make people comfortable with us, we need to tell them. And I just thought, I'm going to do that at school. And it took me quite a long time to get round to it and pluck up the courage. Yeah. But it was amazing. And the thing, I guess, for me was that everyone was completely accepting. I had no negative reactions.
That's great. Well, I hope you've encouraged other people to be as brave as you were, David. And Richard, also, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
very much.
Thank you.